Hello and welcome to my podcast. On today's programme, I'm going to be looking further into whether the public should be allowed to buy fireworks or if it should just be kept at public displays to keep us safer. Later on, I will be speaking to David Elliot, who is the watch commander for the Red Watch at Watford's fire station, to hear his view. But firstly, I went out onto the streets to hear what the general public thought on this issue.
I mean, traditionally we've always bought fireworks for family occasions, so I think as long as it's sold to adults, it should be still okay to do that.
You should be able to buy them, but I do think that there should be sort of maybe stronger age restrictions in place for them.
I think they should be just being on displays, public displays.
I've got no problem obviously they're being sold, but they should be kept under a strict display, and also there should be an age limit of what age people can buy them. I'm totally against fireworks that are of the legalised people that sell them illegally. Totally against them. So yes, shopkeepers should have to have a licence to sell them.
As you can see, a lot of the public seem to be against fireworks being sold to the general public. In 2005, statistics showed that the most firework-related incidents were at family or private parties other than public displays. However, when looking at the highest age group injured, 18 to 20-year-olds were the lowest counted. Should the age be raised from 18 to buy fireworks?
Definitely needs to be older. Definitely. I think maybe if they were sold to over 25s, I really do think the age should be, because it's really dangerous.
I'd like to see it raised to 21 or something. People more responsible.
I think that should definitely be raised. I've got an 18-year-old and I think it's far too young because they think it's fun. So at least 21.
However, the public have also shown me that not everyone is against the selling of fireworks.
Well, I'm generally in favour of people being allowed to be responsible for themselves. I think it's a joy. Of course there's a risk, but life is full of risks. We should prepare people to handle risk rather than try to shut them off from it.
I think they definitely should be sold to the public. I loved bonfire night as a child, and it was very nice going down the garden having our own little bonfire display. I know they're dangerous, but people have to use their common sense, and they need to be careful about how they manufacture them. Anything like that to make them safer, I think is a good idea, but stopping the public from buying them, I think is mad, so I strongly disagree with that idea.
Next up, I'm talking to a very special guest who has agreed to give his opinion on this issue. I'm here with David Elliot, who is the watch commander for the Red Watch at Watford's fire station. So did you want to start off by telling me a bit about your role?
My role is rather a large role. I'm responsible for running Red Watch on a day-to-day basis, both operationally, training and carrying out all of our community fire safety duties.
What do you think of selling fireworks to the members of the public?
It's a very interesting question. We would recommend that, if possible, members of the public go to an organised display. In Watford, every year, the council run a big display down in Castlebury Park, and we recommend that everybody goes down to that. It's set up by professional people, big risk assessment process that goes through in the running of the event, and people they're most safe at a big event like that. However, we do recognise that in this day and age, people will have their own fireworks displays in their own back gardens. Watford's a very cultural, diverse town. It's not just for fireworks. We have people letting off fireworks for lots of other celebrations, Diwali, Eid, and all sorts of other fireworks celebrations going on really till the new year. So as you can see, it is a very interesting subject. We recommend that if you do have a firework display in your own home, that you follow the firework code completely. People can access that online if they're not sure about it. It's quite self-explanatory. Make sure that you buy fireworks that go to the British standard. Make sure you buy them from a reputable place. You need to be over 18 to buy those fireworks. Never mix alcohol and fireworks together, and always look at the instructions and try and make sure you let them off in as safe an environment as possible.
Talking of the age, we know that obviously you have to be 18. Do you think that perhaps the age should be raised, or do you think that's a good age that fireworks should be sold to?
I think 18 is probably the right level. Any younger than that, 16, 17-year-olds, they're still not might not be responsible enough to buy fireworks and let them off in the right manner. We do work very closely with trading standards. They are a part of the corporate protection department within Hertfordshire County Council, and work very closely with them, and they will go into premises and make sure that there are no sales to underage, like tobacco, illegal alcohol and bits and pieces, legal sales to underage people. So that's something we do work very closely with our colleagues at Trading Standards, both inspecting to make sure that the fireworks are stored correctly according to all the rules and regulations within places that sell them, and make sure that there's no illegal sales to people under the age of 18.
Talking of that, obviously, you know, accidents are still happening, etc. Do you think the selling of fireworks should be better regulated? Or,
as I've said, we work very closely with Trading Standards, and I don't think you can get more regulated than it actually is at the moment. The problem is if you've got some backstreet sales, and we work very closely with the police to make sure that any legal sales of fireworks are immediately stamped down on. One of the things we do vigilance checks with the police around this time of year, Halloween and bonfire night, to prevent any antisocial behaviour. We do vigilance checks, which is driving around in fire appliance to places where we know there's a possibility of people using fireworks and not using them in the correct fashion. And our presence there, a very large fire appliance driving around, normally is enough to actually put people off and prevent them from using fireworks in dangerous ways, throwing fireworks, setting rockets off and aiming them at people. And over the past few years, it's a definite reduction in the numbers of antisocial behaviour incidents within the Watford area because of the work that we've been doing.
how about when fireworks are sold? Do you think they should be sold in corner shops in full view of young children? Because obviously that is where they are commonly sold, and like in supermarkets where there are a lot of children. Would you agree with that?
Again, it's an emotive subject. As long as they're being sold to people over 18 and they're being stored correctly, there's not a lot we can really do about that. Again, we'd recommend that people go to an organised event to make sure that they can enjoy the fireworks to their fullest. And obviously organised events, they tend to last a lot longer and have a lot better quality fireworks than you possibly could buy in a supermarket. However, as long as people are buying fireworks and they adhere to the firework code and do things as safely as possible, then it's their choice to do that. But again, we would put the caveat that they always look and use the firework code.
Obviously, like you say, it's the antisocial behaviour, it's dropped with fireworks recently. Would you say that to make it even better, do you think perhaps people should have a licence to buy fireworks?
You certainly need a licence to store over certain amounts of fireworks and sell fireworks, but I think having a licence to use them, it's a very difficult subject from my point of view. If everybody's using them correctly and in a safe fashion and they are over 18, then probably not. But again, the caveat is that they are using them in the correct fashion and not using them in an antisocial behaviour or using them dangerously, throwing them around.
What would you say is your busiest night of the year? Because obviously there's firework night and then you've got New Year's and other occasions. So would firework night be your busiest night of the year?
That's a very popular question. It's probably the most asked question that I have been asked. I've been a firefighter for 29 years now, and everybody says, is bonfire night your busiest night of the year? It probably isn't, actually, because of the work we do. We do so much education. We go into schools and speak to youngsters about firework safety. It's a big thing. We visit every single junior and primary school within the Watford area and talk to the kids and make sure that they're safe. We do lots of inspections on shops with our partners with Trading Standards to make sure they're being sold correctly. And the education that we do with people really is effective, and it has reduced the number of incidents with fireworks, both people being hurt and the antisocial behaviour incidents around the town. So it's often a quiet one in respect of calls, but it's also very busy because we are doing all of those engagements. We're speaking to the schools and getting out. So it's a very busy time on that front. But actual call-wise, no, it probably isn't the busiest time of year for us.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. It was nice to talk to you and hear your opinion. Well, that's all for today's programme. Thank you for listening, and you can check out the blog for more information.